Dr. Meghan Hynson. I am an adjunct assistant professor of ethnomusicology here at University of San Diego, where I teach courses in world music, global popular music, and I also direct the Balinese Gamelan Ensemble. So gamelan is a popular instrumental ensemble from Indonesia. Gamelan essentially means orchestra. There's many different types of orchestra, gamelan orchestra in Indonesia, but essentially a gamelan orchestra is an ensemble of knobbed pots, gongs, and xylophone-like instruments. And the one that we teach here at the University of San Diego is from the island of Bali, and it's called Gamelan Ensemble. I think that teaching gamelan is really important for a number of reasons. Number one, you are teaching about cross-cultural music through a multicultural approach, getting to know a different culture, its belief systems, its rituals, its customs through the music. Musically, the way we teach gamelan is through rote, orally, so you're not actually learning the music by reading music, which I think teaches different musical skills too. You really embody the music, you really feel rhythm in ways that maybe you wouldn't necessarily feel if you're playing an instrument and really focused on written notation. I also think that it's important to learn gamelan because you're introduced to different musical forms and different ways of composing and conceptualizing music. So if you're a composer or just a music enthusiast, you kind of see different ways around the world that music is formulated. Yeah, in a way, people learning music, gamelan music in America is a form of sustaining the tradition. There's still a very vibrant tradition that's connected to all the rituals and things in Bali. But yeah, one of the ways in which that we're ensuring that this music is passed on is by learning it amongst ourselves here in the United States, learning traditional repertoire, composing new songs. Yeah. So the fastest way to learn how to play gamelan is to join a group, right? It's a communal activity. There are many different entry points to learning gamelan. You don't have to know how to play the instruments. You can start by just coming and being the beat keeper, or you can start by coming and just playing the gong and outlining the main gong cycle. And as you get to know the music, as you get to know the instruments, there's ways to progress from more simple melodies and forms that you have to memorize to more difficult dampening techniques and interlocking syncopated patterns. Yeah, so kotakan is a main musical feature of gamelan. It essentially means what you said. It means interlocking. And it's this idea where you have a basic part that's played by what's known as the polos, and then you have a counterpart that kind of fills in but also plays simultaneously at certain points as the polos part to create this kind of fast sounding music through the interlocking of two different parts. And that's a main musical feature of gamelan. So is this idea of call-atomic structure and the idea that a lot of what we're playing is cyclical. So you might have an 8-beat cycle punctuated by the gong, and then typically the smaller the instrument, the faster they play, and the more they subdivide that cycle in a variety of ways. Yeah, so gamelan has a number of uses. Generally, it's used to accompany dance, to accompany shadow puppet theater, as something that's a requirement for ritual ceremonies. And in that case, it's kind of almost like an invocation or a form of communication with the ancestors and with the gods. It might just be entertainment for the people and the children coming to a temple or to a temple ceremony. And like I said, for a variety of different rituals, our gamelan at USD, which is a gamelan angklung specifically, is a form of music that is traditionally used for cremation ceremonies. The instruments are small. They only have 4 keys, as opposed to some gamelan that might have 10 or 14 keys. They're small and portable. And that kind of points to their function in Bali as processional music, used for parades and for accompanying the deceased body and remains to the cremation grounds, where it's then kind of burned in a variety of different sort of rituals. No. One who maybe is playing gamelan for the first time might strike one piece of gamelan at the bottom key, and then they might strike another gamelan instrument at that same key and notice that they're not exactly together. The pitches aren't exactly tuned like we strive to do in Western music. This is on purpose. In gamelan music, they purposely off-tune the instruments, one slightly higher than the other. I think this is often called ngumang or ngisap. And the reason behind this is when you hit one key, it's kind of resonant, and maybe you'll hit the other key, it's also kind of resonant, but when you hit the two together, that slightly off intonation actually creates a beating or an even further resonance, which really builds and lends to the overall like big resonance of the gamelan sound in general. So the off-tuning is on purpose. So my favorite gamelan piece to play is probably one that we're working on right now called Swarga Mga. And it's my favorite because it's a very traditional classical piece of the Angklung repertoire. It's from a village called Mas Village, and I had the opportunity and pleasure to travel to Indonesia last summer and learn the piece in Mas Village. It's a piece that probably has never really been heard or taught here in the United States. It's really challenging. It's got really difficult interlocking patterns between the polos and the sangsi. And for that reason, it's a great challenge for me. I love the melody, and Swarga Mangal refers to the point in the cremation ceremony where the body or the soul of the deceased is ascending to heaven. So Swarga is like heaven, and Mangal means like kind of traveling or on the road to heaven. So it's played to accompany the soul's spirit to heaven. Thank you. Join the USD Gamelan.